Hi YouTube, how are you doing? I'm doing okay, not too bad. We might have a little bit of noise, but it'll be okay. Um, I just got through listening to Dr. Justin Sledge um, over on his channel ESOTERICA had a series on Cornelius Agrippa's work as an alchemist and a Christian that is really left out of, well, he was mentioned in the scriptures, but barely. And his disdain with people that will do magical things like necromantic. And see, that's the basis of the Christian religion now, today. What is written and the words that are written in the scriptures that have been translated improperly was set in place as spellcasting. If you're reading the original Septuagint, is not the same as what you're doing to yourself today. And in the scriptures it says Christ cannot be found in the church, just for the record, you know. Um, I'm going to share this, the cult philosophy of Cornelius Agrippa, um, and some of his beliefs and what that was. And people just don't understand that Christian Christianity as we know it today is exclusively a religion of necromancy and magic. There was Simon the Magi. There was King Solomon in the Lesser Keys of Solomon, um, summoning demons to help him do work in his kingdom. I mean, you know, um, things that uh, Agrippa warned people about, but that was left out. It was left out. I can't express enough how twisted Christianity is against people. You people are waiting for the second coming of Christ, and it's already happened. You are waiting for Revelation, and these things have been progressively happening through all the ages. Um, anyway, and that's documented. But you'll find if you hear what Professor Sledge is telling you about Agrippa's teachings, then you'll understand a little deeper that um looking into like esoteric things, or that doesn't make you um someone that's necessarily going to practice that or act on anything and everything that you read, but you have been, or I was, conditioned up into a point to believe every single thing that was handed to me in that church. Then I got to a point where that spiritual feeling and what I was reading wasn't making a connection. When I was a kid, there was something wrong. I knew I wanted to be a part of a church. I know there is a God. It just didn't fit with what I was being taught. There was a darkness around it that made me want to strike out and start my own church, not away from God, but closer to Him, you know? because people didn't have the understanding of what they were practicing, that they were rituals and spells and everything. Oh, God. The wording, the language, the way it's patterned out, the things they took out and put back in and arranged it as such to keep people fooled into summoning the demons and not knowing what you're doing for the benefit of the controllers in the world. That's all you're doing. You're perpetuating this monster, this machine of the dark cabal with your uniformed religions. It's just a fact, you know. It's sad. It's really sad, actually. But you must, unless you're really hypnotized, which is a possibility. I don't know. Total conditioning over and over again. Believe in God, send your children to war, and have them pray before their God before they go out and strike another human. You just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and it never ends. And then you're supposed to forgive too along the way. Don't forget that. At least you be forgiven. There's a lot of twisted, controlling shit in the whole thing. So, yeah. I think it's important for people to understand that. I don't know if they're going to get it, that there's magic in the Bible, that it's a book of magic. It's a book of dark magic. Does it need to be rewritten? No. You need to be able to interpret the first writings of it, not the ones that have been rewritten and rewritten and rewritten and then rewritten some more. Especially after the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, when they were trying to use demons to summon the power of God through people and resurrect people that had had those gifts so they could progress in their societies and have people with the nature of inventing. They were lacking that for hundreds of years. And they want to make sure they have that control over that energy through those muses, mom and dad, you know. But I would venture to say that there's a handful of people on this planet that understand the dangers of summoning anybody that is no longer in their skin. I think that it's never going to end nicely for anybody. You'll pay for it. You might be paying for it along the way. Um, I've seen it. That's a total master of the elements like that. I've seen that. I think I have once. And then I've seen on the other hand, somebody that will pay forever for wielding a magic. Um, that they were forbidden to touch. And that's not my problem, that's his problem. So it'll all come out in the wash. People think a woman did something to the whole of humanity, and you're praising the person who did. So, you know, whatever, you know, it'll all come out in the wash. I don't have too much longer to have to worry about it, but there's generations to come that are going to be bamboozled by these major religions and their mantras and different positions of their bodies, everything that keeps them in that vibration, that subservient vibration. You're a divine being. You have no business on your knees before our Father. None. Get off your knees and stand before your Father, you know, for real, people. Holy smokes. Or maybe you have the kind of dad who knocks you down and then wants to talk like nothing happened. I don't know. Could be you have a dad with like major psychological problems or something. Who knows? I've seen a lot of things in the world. Yeah. I made some disappearing cookies last night. Wow. Cookie bars. They were oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. They were just too good. Yeah. And I made them kind of taste like I didn't use a recipe. I kind of just know the science of baking and what does what and how. So I made them taste more like a butter toffee chocolate chip cookie, and, and they had oatmeal in them, so I think they were like a health bar. Sure. No, no, they were too good. We do have some left, but um, a couple each for tonight. And Doug was going to have his this morning, and I told him that we had some bratwurst and sauerkraut before we had those last night. I said, maybe you just want to have a sausage before you go out and work instead of like the sugar, you know. That's not really a good way to start your day. I don't think he had anything. I think he ended up just, he went out to do, I got my work, most of my work done this morning earlier. So we have different hours. I just, we eat at different times. We just sleep at different times, work at different times. So, yeah. Anyway, just the way it is. It's like I don't know. I can't remember the last time I sat down at a table and eat. I turn on a movie and sit in front of my computer. I like it. And I'm not really going to feel guilty for doing what I do in my life. I like it. It's the same with, I don't know. It's like, okay, sometimes I get lonely for like hugs, like from my kids or whatever. But I actually have gone over a decade in my life without the hug of another human being. It's probably been a few years now. People, and um, if you go 10 or 20 years, um, I don't let people just touch me either. They'll go to like touch me. It depends. I'll hug somebody if I know if I can heal somebody, I'm gonna do it. Maybe. But then there's other times that I have to be careful. Somebody will go to hug me, and I know that it's going to be some energy I'm not about to take on, and I'll step back and put my hand up or put my arm in the way or whatever, or go like that, you know. Um, yeah, you got to be careful. It's true. But I'd really rather go decades without human contact than have the wrong person contacting me. You know, I'm not really big on all this communal shit. No, you know, really. Like, I used to shake people's hands. I was like super outgoing, and ran across too many creepazoids, and it just got way too nasty. Like shaking people's hands that didn't wash them, and really, or getting too close to people with that just, no, I love you way over there, but that's close enough, type of feeling. So really, I'll never settle for anything less than what I want, and that's in my friendships too. So, yeah. You might think it's strange. I don't know how many times a year or days do you get a hug. I don't know. For me, I grew up with a lack of affection, is putting it mildly. So, my first initial human contact of full compassion was when I gave birth to the first blood I ever met in my life, was my very own son. And that's the first time that I ever felt actual human connection of compassion. I mean, I had compassion for people, but not like that. It did get stronger after I had, but I still am very seclusive. As much as I love, I'm still not going to bend or break or bow to another human, not ever. So, anyway, yeah, I'm a little weird like that. Oh, yeah, people say they get lonely. You do not know the first thing about it. You don't know what that's like. It's a different kind of loneliness. I can't explain God in my life no more than you can explain to me God in your life. I do believe He talks to us all differently. Not in a different manner, but differently, you know? So, and I'm sure He does see people's intent behind their religious practices, even if they're not aware of what those are, that you're actually raising hell for the dark cabal with your special name for your special guy that comes first, that is already in control of this world. That's special anti what? Yeah, he's already doing his thing, don't you see? You know, it's pretty apparent. It's really important for people to understand this. The word Christ is actual resurrection. It was a medical term in ancient times, and um, that's a fact. It's just a part of the biological facts of the alchemy of religions. What do you think you're doing out there? Waiting for the return of Christ. The dead rise with him. Um, wow. I hope I hope some of this is getting through to you. I hope you can keep God in your heart and keep a uplifted mindset through all this turmoil and torment that people feel when they've been deceived by the most important thing, the dearest thing to them in some senses would be their church and their fellowship with that church. But when the church gets hijacked and the book gets changed, you're already worshiping Satan and you don't even know it. Amen, brother. Just that alone, the very last word in the whole book is end of man. Well, that's okay if your spirit's gonna ascend, but if it's not, that's a pretty foreboding term, you know. There's a confirmation, and like I've told people before, that word is for funerals and marriages, indicating a transition from one physical being to to another, not another one, but another essence of yourself. And that's the only time that word's supposed to be used because of its incantations. I actually just sat down and told you more than you're going to learn in a whole year of paying somebody somewhere out there to tell you what I'm already telling you. My videos are full of tips just like that. Here's a question for you people that are married out there. How evenly yoked do you feel with your significant other? Do you feel like you work well together? Um, is there actual purpose for your union that enhances the world as a whole? Um, Serious questions, you know. You can ask me. Go ahead. I'll comment. If you ask me, I'll tell you. But it would actually be a more of a spiritual thing that I don't know if you'd really understand the depth of my heart and soul. Even getting married on Independence Day, some people would think, well, that's really whacked. No, it was necessary. I'm a whole nother, that's nothing to do with being a swinger or being disloyal or none of that. Even the preacher who married us, this moron, didn't even get what Doug and I meant in with our whole ceremony. He was just there to sign the paper. He was that fucking stupid coming out of the church and trying to perform a ceremony that he didn't even have a clue what he was talking about between Doug and I. He had no clue. It wasn't your typical union. He knew something was a little weird, but he didn't know what. Well, it was 104 degrees that day, pure hell. That should have gave him his first clue, but I don't know. He was pretty stupid anyway. Actually, he was a fucking dick, but whatever. We wanted to get married in the church, but we weren't members of his community, and we were having problems finding somebody besides a justice of the peace to do that because we were not going to involve the government in our union. And it was even bad enough that we have to file it through their system. None of it's really none of their business. You know, it's all screwed up. So if anybody ever wants to get married, I'll perform the ceremony for free and file the papers for you. I'm legal in my state to do that for you. I did that in case my stepdaughter needed me. So, but yeah, I can legally do that for you. And it would depend. If I see that I think there's issues, I'm going to point them out. And I will not unite same sex. Nope, not doing it. That's not a marital union. That's a contractual union of the flesh. That has nothing to do with your um, ethereal souls. So, and you can debate me till you drop dead, or I do, whoever goes first. But that's never going to change. It's not going to change the biological facts in life. It'll only change your pleasure situation, and um, you might not lack respect on what that marriage, the first marriage and union, actually is and was, because it is an ongoing thing. It's you might not have a depth of understanding on that, and there's no condemning you on that. You pick where your eternity is. That's not something to take lightly for anybody, you know, or to condemn your decision. The Christian religion has been used as a mode of conditioning for sex slaves. The younger, the better. And that's a lot of the language that is used. Like Jesus and his boys. None of the disciples were over 18 years old. They were 9 to 17. All of them. And he was an adult. He sold Thomas to two princes, or the king and the prince of India. sold him. They thought he was beautiful. It's in the text. The real text. That's some better know who the Antichrist is. That's all I got to say. You know, like, yeah, pick your poison, right? Wow. All right, I'm gonna get this uploaded. Like I say, I'm also going to put this occult philosophy of Cornelius Agrippa. Just the last, some of the things that Justin says in this video, it will help you make some connections like Cornelius Agrippa did with the dark magic that was being used, and why his teachings and writings were left out of um, gospels that people should have available to them for the um, medical alchemy of the whole thing, and a lot of the things I talk about, you know. And I didn't learn them from Cornelius Agrippa, um, but I was taught by masters. They taught me when I was little, and I took over after that. And that's how you go into a dark cabal and ruin it from the inside out, is with biological chemistry, God in your heart, and foresight. And that's what I do. And I do it the best. So, all right, everybody. Appreciate you joining me. Have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.